Crocodile inaweza tokea juu. Hiyo sijakula hata unataka nikufa.
Good evening, glad that you are watching your channel of choice on the news tonight. Tonight,
tutaangalia ile upande ambayo tutakuwa inaangalia watu wa Mlima Kenya, na sisi tunajua vile ambao tutapewa direction na president, vile amesimama katika upande wa handshake. Tunajua yeye anajua kile sisi ambayo hatujui.
Promises for Baba from the mountain.
He is so clean, there is nothing to clean. He is already very clean.
It's about debts repayment and 2022. Also tonight, suspected killer Caroline Kangogo died of a single gunshot wound on the head. Government pathologist says.
When I look at this gunshot wound entry, it was a contact wound, meaning that the gun was on the skin.
Plus, police are pursuing 3 daring robbers who stole 1 AK-47 rifle and a G3 magazine from police officers manning Equity Bank Matu branch. They injured police officers and escaped with a unknown amount of money. And Wairimu is our sign language interpreter. Good evening, I'm Abubakar Abdullahi. Welcome to the broadcast. To our top story tonight, and a post-mortem examination conducted on the body of suspected killer cop Caroline Kangogo has revealed that the suspect died of a single gunshot wound on the head. According to government pathologist Dr. Johansen Odwor, Kangogo had no other injuries apart from the wound. And as David Mudhoka now reports, the series of events surrounding Kangogo's death still remains a mystery as the probe into her alleged suicide entered day 11th.
Tuesday morning at the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital mortuary in Eldoret. The body of police officer Caroline Kangogo arrived from Iten ahead of the autopsy to establish the cause of the suspected cop killer's death and the manner in which she died. After hours of the post-mortem examination that was conducted under tight security, it was established that Kangogo died of a single gunshot wound to the head. According to government pathologist Dr. Johansen Odwor, the killer bullet pierced Kangogo's head through her right chin and exited through her left side of the head, fatally hitting her spine, brain and skull.
When I look at this gunshot wound entry, it was a contact wound, meaning that the gun was on the skin. There was what made me thought so. There was a hole which is caused by the bullet. There was a soot. There was areas of burning and what is called muzzle imprint.
And with fears that the trigger might have been pulled by someone else, Dr. Odwor has stated that a further examination will be conducted on the samples collected from Kangogo's body to determine whether she turned the gun on herself, as earlier alleged, or she was murdered.
We will be able to establish this once we've done other investigation which we are doing. We've taken swabs from the hand to find out whether there's any gunshot residues, which will be able to tell us that
Kangogo was found in a pool of blood on the morning of 16th July at her parents' home in Nyawa, Elgeyo Marakwet. The 34-year-old police officer had been on the run for 10 days after allegedly killing 2 police officers, among them Police Constable John Ogweno in Nakuru and later Peter Ndwiga at a hotel in Juja.
The scene looked like the incident occurred at the scene. From what I got from the investigating officers who are there, because me, I have not gone to the scene, but that's what I got from the investigating officers. So it looked like probably she died at the scene.
The body has been taken back to Iten ahead of Kangogo's final journey. David Mudhoka, TV47.
Kitui Governor Charity Ngilu has been hospitalized at the Nairobi hospital after contracting COVID-19. This as the number of COVID-19 cases in the country continue to rise, with 976 cases reported today and a positivity rate of 14.2%. And as our health reporter Zainab Mohammed now reports, the COVID-19 containment measures expire amid a surge in infections.
Kitui Governor Charity Ngilu has contracted COVID-19 and is currently admitted at the Nairobi hospital. Confirming the reports, Machakos counterpart Alfred Mutua says Ngilu's health condition is currently stable. This even as the COVID-19 containment measures expire amid a surge in infections. According to data from the Ministry of Health, in the last 1 week, the country has recorded a total of 4,651 cases, 651 cases more than the total number of infections in the previous week. The numbers are high in Kiambu County as well, just days after the Kiambaa and Muguga by-elections. As a result, the county government of Kiambu has closed Tigoni Hospital for patients with other ailments. Only COVID-19 cases will be attended to at the facility.
We have about 134 positive COVID cases in our COVID center in Tigoni. That's probably 30 patients more than we experienced during the third wave.
In the last 10 days, the county of Kiambu has recorded more than 400 cases of COVID-19. Sources indicate that even the number of daily deaths are high at the facility. The county government says it is using at least 3 tons of oxygen on a daily basis.
Not be able to contain the situation unless we go back to the containment measures that we have been going through. And whereas we as the county will continue to be ready to cope with the cases, despite the fact that they are increasing.
All eyes are now on the house on the hill as Kenyans await to see whether or not the containment measures will be extended or further tightened amid the 4th wave fears. All learners are also back to school together for the first time since schools were closed after the first case of COVID-19 was reported in the country. Zainab Mohammed, T47.
Moving on, security agents in Machakos County have arrested 2 suspects believed to be part of a gang of 5 criminals who raided Equity Bank Matu branch and made away with a known amount of money during a broad daylight robbery. The gang snatched 2 AK-47 rifles from police officers manning the bank before gaining a forceful entry into the bank. 5 customers are reported to have lost more than 200,000 shillings, with the 2 police officers sustaining injuries. Mwangi Maina has the details.
Tuesday, 8 minutes past 9 a.m., this woman is captured on CCTV cameras leaving Equity Bank Matu branch in Machakos County. A few seconds later, this man is seen approaching the entrance of the bank, but is seemingly distracted by an ensuing confrontation before running away. Minutes later, a female police officer believed to be guarding the bank is seen dashing outside the bank in a confused state. Later, members of public are seen running away from the precincts of the bank. A few seconds later, 2 of the suspected thugs are seen wrestling with this police officer, taking an AK-47 rifle from him. They are seen pushing the police officer into the bank as another suspect enters the bank with an AK-47 rifle, allegedly taken forcibly from the female police officer.
Majambazi wawili ndio waliingia ndani. Mmoja alikuwa na apron na mwingine alikuwa tu amevaa, kunaye alikuwa hata amevaa suit. So ndio walianza kupiga risasi hivyo, wakasema kila mtu chini. Kutoka hapo sisi tulilala, wakaingia ndani, wakapekua, wakaingia mpanga ndani, wakachukua pesa. Baadaye wakapiga marisasi na umati bado ulikuwa umejaa nje, tukisikia tukiwa ndani. Sasa wao wakatoka, alafu cover up ya askari wengine wakaanza kukuja sasa kusaidia scene.
Nilikuwa natoka nikapata watu wanang'ang'ana na soja hapo kwa gate askari. Then kuangalia nikaona ni kama wamemnyang'anya bunduki. Nikitaka kutoka, huyu wa BM akifunga, huyu wa security akifunga, ni jamaa akatoka nyuma yangu. akakimbia akasimama hapo kwa mlango, akatoa pisto, akasema kila mtu alale chini. Akapiga risasi moja juu, akasema kila mtu alale chini, so sisi tukajificha.
Another suspect is seen leaving the bank moments later and taking charge outside as his accomplices ransacked the bank for money.
Nimekuja hapa katika Equity, nilikuwa na kesho tuko na matanga na tukatumwa tuje tuchukue pesa ya kwenda kusindikisha mwenza wetu. Halafu tukaja tukakuta mali imeharibika sana hapa katika Equity. Tumekuta imeibiwa, sasa tunashangaa tutafanyaje? Mwili sasa lazima itolewe leo, pesa haijapatikana. Sasa hii itakuwaje katika hii Kenya yetu?
According to a report filed at Matu police station, 2 thugs initially in the bank posed as customers before firing in the air, alerting their colleagues. 5 customers who were in the bank at the time of the heist reported to have lost 270,860 Kenya shillings. The female police officer, identified as Dorothy Opili, sustained injuries on her hip joint, bruises on her left hand, while her colleague, identified as Patrick Omusebe, sustained bruises on both hands and pain on his private parts. Their AK-47 rifles contained 30 rounds of ammunition each. 2 suspects who are boda riders have already been arrested in connection with the robbery.
We have 2 suspects in custody who believed that they're part of the gang. There were 5 and 2 riders. We have the 2 riders with us and the investigation is ongoing. And I appeal to members of the public, of which they were helpful today when we were pursuing the criminals. They assisted us a lot.
Mwangi Maina, TV47.
Elsewhere, the UK government has pledged to pump £1 million, which is approximately 150 million shillings, towards upgrading Kenya's infrastructure. This was made public by UK's Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab at a meeting that was attended by President Uhuru Kenyatta in London. President Kenyatta arrived in the UK ahead of the Global Partnership for Education Summit, which he will co-host with UK's Prime Minister Boris Johnson.
On his first day in London, Uhuru took part in an investor forum that was attended by UK's Foreign Secretary as well as delegates from Kenya. It is during this meeting that he took time to woo investors into the country, saying there are opportunities worth over 500 billion shillings.
I invite the private sector here in the United Kingdom to partner with us as we deliver on this vision for the people of Kenya. And I wish to announce 10 investment opportunities that are immediately available in Kenya under the PPP framework, valued at a total of $5 billion, and these are the Nairobi Smart Streetlights Project, the Nairobi Bus Rapid Transport System, the Intelligent Traffic Management System, the Galana Kulalu Food Security Project, the Lamu Fishing Port Project, the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital Training Complex Project, the Mombasa Industrial Park, the Meru Cancer Center Project, the Kenyatta National Hospital Project, and the Lamu Port Project. Kenya remains one of the most attractive investment destinations on the African continent, and indeed is one of the fastest growing economies on the continent. Our economy in Kenya is projected to rebound strongly from the COVID-19 pandemic.
We are keen to partner with and learn from the City of London as a global financial center. Kenya remains proud of its strong innovation culture, especially in the ICT, from giving the world the first mobile money transfer platform, as we refer to as M-Pesa, as well as being leader in the other innovations in fintech, thereby continuing to attract global ICT giants.
And UK had a bag of goodies for Kenya.
The UK will provide £1 million of UK funding for the technical support to structure a pipeline of projects for private investment in Kenyan infrastructure, the things that really matter to ordinary Kenyans, like railways, roads and housing. As a result of the £35 million of UK funding that the government is putting forward, we've also been able to raise an extra £23 million of private sector investment. And that will finance the construction of a further 10,000 green, affordable homes in Kenya, in support again, Mr. President, of your agenda.
President Uhuru Kenyatta is on a 3-day official visit in London. He will co-host the Global Education Partnership Summit with Prime Minister Boris Johnson. The summit aims to raise $5 billion that will help see children from vulnerable communities access education in the next 5 years. Uhuru and Boris are also expected to have talks on mutual prosperity, security and stability, sustainable development and climate change. The president will also meet senior members of the UK royal family as part of his visit. Sharon Baranga, TV 47.
Thank you, our senior reporter Sharon Baranga, for that report. You're watching TV 47 News tonight. Time for us to take a short break, but still ahead.
You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
Why not gift your family with a property in Nakuru City? Highsop Properties now introduces Viwandani Estate Phase 2. These are commercial plots opposite Simba Cement Factory in Gisheha Farm, with all amenities at only 579,000 shillings with up to 6 months installments. Visit our offices in Nakuru, Nairobi or Nyandarua, or call us on 0723-032-522 or text the word Nakuru to 21404. Highsop Properties, a culture of trust.
Raukia siku njema na tunukiwa offers kila siku. Pata offers zote mahali pamoja ili uongee zaidi, utume SMS zaidi na ubrowse zaidi.
Wewe usijali, tuma namba ya kila supplier kwa hiyo soko. Ndio nitaongea na kila mmoja wao.
Very good. Piga *444# utunukiwe Credo double.
Wewe crocodile ile zatokea juu. Hiyo sijakula hata unataka nikufe kabla ni. I don't like it. I don't. Kai na hipo ikitokelezea ivuruche simu yangu. No, ni sawa. Those who know me will tell you I'm not a lover of large volumes of water. But for you, we roam the different parts of the country and beyond just to make sure that we bring you the experience. We educate you, we entertain you, and we inform you.
That it's not political and it can do something.
As we sail the boat of Morning Cafe to enlighten you, entertain you, and inform you every Monday to Friday, only on TV 47.
Woo. Construction can be quite a task, but how do you move from finding your piece of land, sourcing the right materials, getting the right labor force to put up your building? Or better yet, how do you source for a building that's already built?
Just a small.
The home of untold stories.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now, Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe now says that the country will lose close to 2 billion shillings after the selling of COVID-19 merchandise that is laying at the KEMSA warehouse in a week's time. Appearing before the National Assembly's Public Investment Committee, Kagwe has further admitted to some of the irregularities at the KEMSA procurement and tenders which contributed to overpurchase and overpricing. Elizabeth Mutuku has more.
To give evidence on matters before the committee, to swear that the information that...
It was a date for the Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe before the Public Investments Committee of the National Assembly, where he admitted to the reality that the country will lose not less than 2 billion shillings in disposal of COVID-19 merchandise lying at the KEMSA warehouse. MPs anchored by the sentiments which, according to them, would have been averted if the Ministry of Health acted accordingly.
You know, to stop whatever that was happening. Waziri, is it fair to Kenyans that 6 months down the line, the ministry was not aware of what was happening? The estimated loss is 1.9 billion. I just want to know your view as the minister in charge of health. What is your feeling? What do you think about this figure?
Yet, when we look through your report, I saw for those things which have not been paid, for those products which have been not paid for, is 2.9 billion shillings. 2.9 billion shillings. Was it prudent enough for you to renegotiate back or to allow the cabinet to sanitize the 2.3 billion shillings which has been sourced of high prices?
Chair and honorable members, in fact, this is the current, because today the NDICC, the National Development Committee on the committee meeting held today, the cabinet directed the disposal of PPEs to avoid loss through expires.
CS Kagwe further told the committee that the ministry gave the required advice to the KEMSA board and other relevant stakeholders during the peak of the pandemic in what seemed like the former CEO John Manjari and KEMSA board acted on their own.
The question is, once that happened, you're expecting you have a team of technocrats and bureaucrats and people who are really learned in all these matters, and for them to say that, what, this is what we will need.
So because the normal structure is that if you are going to use, if as an executive member of any organization, you are going to use money over and above the amount that has been allocated to you, then you are supposed to go to the board, apply to the board, inform the board, the amount of money we have is not enough for purposes for which we are going, and in this particular case for the emergencies that were there in 2020, around about April, and the rest of those early months.
Members of Parliament wondering how KEMSA went on tendering spree, which would later see taxpayers' billions go to the drain. However, CS Kagwe has assured the committee that there is no more money will be required from Treasury to pay the pending bills in the COVID-19 controversial tenders.
And yet you are legitimizing that expenditure of 1.9 billion shillings, and you are saying everybody else incurred losses. Everybody else incurred losses because of the poor economy, because of the poor trade, but not on escalated prices, which was done under your watch as a CS for health.
Three people, in your view, CS, because our mandate is a fact-finding mission, CS. Couldn't you think there are other people involved in the whole processes of managing KEMSA's issues, not only these three?
Mary Mondime is the new chair of that board, and the board is continuing to work and making other changes that are necessary to streamline KEMSA. We are aware that we have problems. We are not denying that we have problems, and we will face them and we will deal with them.
The committee is expected to table its report next week after over 3 months of interrogations and investigations. The National Assembly Public Investments Committee, having concluded its investigations and interrogations on various and key witnesses on the KEMSA scandal, now it's just a matter of wait and see whether the report will hold responsible the culprits. Elizabeth Mutuku, TV47, Nairobi.
Moving on, a section of political leaders from the Mount Kenya region now say that the region owes ODM boss Raila Odinga. The leader spoke in Gatanga, Murang'a County, when ODM leader Raila Odinga toured the region. Paul Kirobi has the details.
ODM boss Raila Odinga was in Gatanga, Murang'a County. In a meeting with artists and political leaders, leaders from the region made promises to the ODM to pay a political debt.
Sisi tutaangalia ile upande ambayo tutakuwa inaangalia watu wa Mlima Kenya, na sisi tunajua vile ambao tutapewa direction na president, vile amesimama katika upande wa handshake. Tunajua yeye anajua kile sisi ambayo hatujui, kwa sababu yeye ndio amefika wapi pale.
Hauwezi kata Mlima Kenya kutumia razor blade. Ati uende hapo unakunyakunya hivi. Tunasema kukunyakunya. Ati ufikirie unagawanya mlima.
Political leaders from Jubilee and ODM supporting the handshake between President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM boss Raila Odinga. They further called on the region to support Odinga's 2022 presidential bid.
Raila is so clean, there is nothing to clean
is already very clean. Is already very clean.
Hata hakuna haja ya kusafishwa. Hii ilikuwa ni mashindano ya kisiasa. Watu walirushiana maneno na wakaelewana. Hiyo maneno ikakwisha.
The ODM boss, who is keen on securing the Central Kenya voting base ahead of the 2022 general election, said joint countrywide rallies will kick off in Nyanza. Odinga also declared to start a new strategy days after Wiper and the Amani National Congress parties announced their exit from the National Super Alliance.
Kijana tutakuwa kule Nyanza. Alafu tutakwenda huko upande wa Western. Alafu tunaenda Pwani. Tunaenda kila mahali.
Mambo ambayo amekuwa akifanya Kenya hii hakuwa anakifanyia yeye mwenyewe, alikuwa anafanyia Jamhuri ya Kenya, na tuko tayari kwa mambo ya BBI. Na kuomba tembea Central. Uliona wakati ulikuja Nyeri, tulikukaribisha. Hapa Murang'a umekaribishwa vizuri. Tunataka utembee pembe zote.
Raila Odinga, I want to tell you that you will be able to work with all leaders in this country. I'll work with Uhuru Kenyatta, I'll work with Raila, I'll work with everybody here for the sake of our people.
However, political leaders allied to Deputy President William Ruto from the region have poked holes on today's meeting, questioning the absence of President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Watu kufika huko, waibaji wetu artists na MCAs wakaanza kujiuliza kwani ile mkutano tuliitwa imeisha, kwa sababu hawakuona rais yule alichaguliwa Kenya. Waliona yule mwingine anajitaga people's president na hakuna people's, ni yeye tu anajiita juu alijiapisha.
Murang'a is Hustler Nation, Murang'a is William Ruto.
The leaders also faulting Deputy President's bottom-up approach economic model, which they say will not solve Kenyans' problems.
Sisi tukiangalia hiyo timu nyingine, Your Excellency, naona ni wakora tu. Ukiangalia pande hii, you can see the entire business community is here. That shows a lot of confidence in your leadership.
The ODM leader has aggressively begun to assemble his 2022 political machine. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
Well, still in politics, and at least 3 NASA affiliate parties have announced their divorce from the 2017 coalition. But according to the registrar of political parties, the road to dissolve NASA is lengthy and bumpy. So far, only Wiper Party's National Executive Council has met to resolve their exit from NASA, and both ANC and Ford Kenya's declarations are still verbal. And as Musa Saleh now reports, this coupled with other coalition agreements could limit the legal frameworks of One Kenya Alliance, a coalition that is yet to legally exist in the records of the registrar of political parties.
The noisy NASA divorce is expected to get even messier in the coming few days as the One Kenya Alliance core principals Moses Wetangula, Musalia Mudavadi and Kalonzo Musyoka prepare to meet in a joint parliamentary group meeting next week after postponing the meeting twice in the last 2 weeks. Kalonzo Musyoka's Wiper Party on Monday resolved to ditch the 2017 NASA coalition that handed ODM leader Raila Odinga the presidential ticket following a 3-hour meeting at the party headquarters.
Those ones, put them off.
Although Wiper has vowed to file the official papers documenting its decision to pull out of NASA with the registrar of political parties, none of its One Kenya Alliance counterparts have met or notified the registrar, putting the registration of the new outfit in limbo. But even as ANC's Musalia Mudavadi and Ford Kenya's Moses Wetangula continue to proclaim the death of NASA, the registrar of political parties would be hand-tied to review the decision of Ford Kenya if at all the party files the decision to leave NASA, owing to the legal supremacy battle for the leadership of the party pending in court.
And you've been seeing yours truly here, who fields candidates for Ford Kenya, who speaks for Ford Kenya, who is the leader of Ford Kenya, known, acknowledged.
Moses Masika Wetangula is the de facto, the legal, the legitimate
leader of Court Kenya.
NASA's coalition agreement that put the quorum for the coalition at least 3 parties could further complicate the divorce from NASA if Ford Kenya, former Bomet Governor Isaac Ruto's CCM, and Chama cha Uzalendo defy the odds to hold on to NASA. Musa Salah, TV 47.
Thank you, Musa Salah, for that report. It's half an hour past the hour. Time for us to take another short break. Stay with us.
You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
Why crocodile inaweza tokea juu. Hiyo sijakula hata unataka nikufe kabla ni. I don't like it. I don't. Miss Kai na hipo ikitokelezea ivuruche simu yangu. No, ni sawa. Those who know me will tell you I'm not a lover of large volumes of water. But for you, we roam the different parts of the country and beyond just to make sure that we bring you the experience. We educate you, we entertain you, and we inform you.
That it's not political and it can do something.
As we sail the boat of Morning Cafe to enlighten you, entertain you, and inform you every Monday to Friday, only on TV 47.
Woo. Construction can be quite a task, but how do you move from finding your piece of land, sourcing the right materials, getting the right labor force to put up your building? Or better yet, how do you source for a building that's already built?
Just a small size of land can suit just a big maisonette because you are going high.
How do you ensure you get the right finishes to bring out the aesthetic value of your property and make it not only look good, but also feel good?
The buyers in this area are the buyers who are able to pay cash.
Well, we have it right here on The Realtor on TV 47, where we demystify building right here in Kenya and analyze the property industry for you to take advantage when acquiring your next piece of property.
Every February, we hear men joking about going to a men's conference on Valentine's Day. We laugh about it, the lucky ones end up having a decent Valentine's Day, and we move on. But what we do not know is that men actually do meet up. Men do sit down and have conversations about things that affect their day-to-day life.
Let me ask, does money make the man?
Give them the gifts, shower them with everything you want to shower them with, but keep your money to yourself.
I, for one, have always been curious as to what goes on in a man's mind, specifically an alpha male's mind.
Adam, yule kwa Biblia anasema ni mtu wa kwanza duniani. Wewe unadhani kama angekuwa hana yale matunda, hana ile garden yake pale ya kukaa, angekuwa tu ni mdomo tu anamfuata Hawa. Oya, mimi ni Adam.
Welcome to the men's conference, where we make men alpha males. My name is Archie, the only female allowed at the conference.
My name is Monica Nyashira Njogona. I am a wife and a mother of 3, and I am a crochet ambassador. This began some years ago when I could not find a white-collar job. I had done a course in IT. I looked for jobs everywhere and I could not find one. So I had a lot of time in my hands.
Welcome back. Let's get to more news. And the Court of Appeal will determine the fate of 23 contested laws on November 5th, following the hearing of an appeal filed by the National Assembly on Tuesday. In a hearing held virtually, lawyers representing the National Assembly are seeking to overturn a High Court ruling made last year outlawing 23 laws passed by the National Assembly. According to judges Jairus Nga, Anthony Ndungu, and Teresia Matheka, the judgment was on the basis that the August House did not involve the Senate in the passing of the 23 laws into law. The High Court, however, suspended the ruling for 9 months until Friday this week. The Court of Appeal has since extended the status quo pending the determination of the appeal later this year. Moving on to a sad story, and 3 out of the 4 women who died after a young driver lost control and crashed on Thursday evening along Muranga Kangema Road have been laid to rest. Residents who flocked the burial grounds have urged political leaders present to improve road safety in the area.
Hundreds of mourners flocked the Muchungucha Catholic Church grounds in Kiharu constituency, Muranga County, to bid farewell 3 out of 4 women who perished in a road accident last week, Thursday. Jane Wayego Marubu, Margaret Waithaka, Mary Waithera, and Mary Wangari were killed when a young driver said to have stolen his parents' car lost control and veered off the Muranga Kangema Road, hitting them. Area residents have decried poor state of roads, highlighting the Muranga Kangema Road as a particular black spot.
Hiyo barabara mahali kulikuwa na hiyo accident, kulikufa watu 4. Na after 2 days bado kuna accident ingine ilikuwa hapo tu ya kijana mdogo aligongwa hapo na gari.
That actually our roads are not that badly off, but I think we need more signages on our roads so that we may prevent this kind of situation.
The Muchungucha residents also highlighted the need to conduct road safety awareness to reduce road accidents in the area.
Ile kitu ilichangia sana ni ulevi, na uwezi kuwa unaendesha gari na bado wewe ni mlevi.
I think we also need to have some sensitization programs to our drivers or road users, motorcycle riders, our drivers of matatus and public vehicles.
Politicians who went to condole with the family led by Kiharu MP Ndindi Nyoro promised the residents to improve the state of roads, saying that he will contract an engineer to improve safety of roads.
Na sana nitatuma engineer wa Kera akuje aangalie hiyo pahali, kwa sababu imekuwa pahali ya kupata accident sana. Aangalie, turekebishe, ndio tusikue na majonzi kama iko hii hapa siku ya leo.
The young driver has since surrendered to the Muranga traffic base on Monday following his initial escape from the scene last week. Jessica Nanjendo, TV47.
Now, a recent research conducted by Tifa Research firm on President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy has revealed that 47% of Kenyans will remember the president for completing and launching projects such as SGR. 10% will remember him in enhancing national unity, 4% in extending the electricity grid, 2% in providing jobs and financial support for the elderly. 18% of Kenyans stated that the main negative legacy that has been highlighted by Uhuru's regime is increased public debt, with 17% on economic hardships for Kenyans and 11% on increased corruption. Moving on, parents have decried the increasing cost of living as schools reopen for a new academic year, with some of them facing school fees headache. As parents jostle to take their children back to school, matatus have hiked fares, with operators claiming that the high cost of fuel has contributed to the increase.
Kwa kusema ukweli, wakati kama huu tunaona kama kuna shida kubwa sana kwa upande wa usafiri. Hasa transport iliongeza, na tukijaribu kuulizia watu wa magari wanasema eti ni kwa ajili ya corona, kwa sababu ya social distancing. Sasa tumekubaliana na hiyo kwa sababu hakuna chenye tutaisafanya. Sasa tujui kama itapunguzwa ama tutaendelea kulipa vile iko, kwa sababu hata kwa newsletter watoto walileta fees ni ile ile. Sasa hatujui kama imepunguzwa ama haijapunguzwa.
Tuliamka hapa mapema mwendo wa saa 10, watu walikuwa wengi. Sasa wanafunzi walikuwa wengi. Unajua magari zilikuwa zinakuja, tuna fumigate, tuna sanitize ndio wanafunzi wanaingia ndani, na tulikuwa tunahakikisha kila mwanafunzi ako na barakoa ndio anaingia kwa gari.
Sisi tumeumia wasasi. Hakuna pesa, na kuna wasasi unajua wapati uchira hata kidogo. Hawa sijui vile musasi atapeleka mtoto shule. Na hakuna njia serikali imetoa ya kusaidia wasasi ndio watoto waendelee. Nasikia kuna fununu ya kwamba kuna school fees imekatwa, yani wamepunguza. Lakini hiyo hatujachua. Kama mimi mtoto wangu ako katika shule ya private, na kwa hiyo sasa sisi hatujaambiwa chochote kama hiyo shule, yani school fees imepunguzwa.
Elsewhere, the family of missing ambulance driver Yasir Mau, who is suspected to have been kidnapped by Lamu County security personnel on the 19th of June, have called on the government for intervention in locating their kin. Yasir Mau's father, Mohammed Ahmed, has condemned his disappearance, asking the government to instead arraign Mau in court of law if at all the missing ambulance driver has broken the law.
ومن اليقين ما تهون به علينا مصائب الدنيا ومتعنا اللهم بأسمائنا.
Tunalotaka ni lile la kwanza, ni kwamba tunataka haki itendeke. Tunalotaka kubwa ni haki itendeke. Iwapo ameonekana ni mhalifu, ashtakiwe kisheria, ahukumiwe, astahiki lile analostahili. Na iwapo ameonekana hana hatia, wampe uhuru wake. Lakini hivi ni dhiki wa watu wengi sana, wazazi wake, marafiki zake, watoto wake, hasa wakeze na mkadhalika. Kwa hiyo hilo tunalotaka. Tuko katika nchi ya demokrasia, nchi ya wanavyodai, nchi ya haki na usawa. Kwa hivyo tunalotaka ni haki na usawa utendeke. Na sisi watu wake tuwahimizana kusubiri na kuvumilia. Hatukosoi serikali, lakini tunataka haki itendeke. Idara za usalama mpaka sasa ni kinya, na ni kawaida yao, yani kimya, completely they are quiet. Na ni kawaida yao mara zote wakinyakua watu hivyo, hawakubali kwamba wamenyakua. Baadaye baada ya muda wengine huwaata, wengine wapeka mahakamani, wengine hupatikana miili tu barabarani.
Nimekuja kwa hii dua ya yangu kumwombea ili pale alipo, hata kama uko shimo gani atolewe. Na mtetezi wetu sisi si mwingine isipokuwa ni Rais Uhuru, ndio mwenye kututetea. Hasa sipotutetea yeye rais, basi tutakosa watetezi wenye kututetea. Hakuna kiongozi zaidi ya rais. Kwa hivyo tuwaomba kwa niaba ya watu wote wa Lamu, rais wetu Uhuru aingilie kati pamoja na Raila Odinga. Sisi tunamtegemea kwa njia nyingi, manake ndugu yangu nashukuru ana wake watatu na watoto. Sasa asikuonekana, kumbuke hao wake wote na watoto pia wako shidani. Sisi ndugu peke yake tuko kwenye shida na watoto pia wako kwenye shida.
Hatukatai mhalifu ashikwe, hatukatai mhalifu ahukumiwe, lakini ikiwa kuna dalili za uhalifu ama serikali ishindwa vipi kuja mahala kunena huyu ni mhalifu tunataka kwenda naye, kumvamia mtu kwa barabara, hii si haki.
Let's get to Bomet, and artisans in Bomet received a major boost after the launch of the Bomet County entertainment industry. The function was presided over by the Principal Secretary for State Department for Broadcasting and Telecommunications. Take a look.
Champions of Unlimited Revelation.
Is to create employment opportunities for over 750,000 youth, young Kenyans joining the labor force annually. The Kenya Vision 2030 under the social pillar aims to make Kenya one of the top destinations of global film producers. The goal is to increase employment opportunities among the talented Kenyan youth in the creative economy. To achieve this goal, the ministry has developed the national film policy with a major objective to promote the development of high quality, easily accessible, relevant local digital content with a view to make Kenya the destination for African continent productions.
As much as the building is very small, but the equipment that we have inside this room is worth millions and millions of shillings, and is going to bring millions and millions of shillings to the pockets of our